Hey, you guys, I am Amy, and I am here to talk to you about tracking made simple. I know that as a new coach or a coach in general, a lot of times it can be a little overwhelming in deciding how to track, which way to track, and all of that. And a lot of people use a lot of different systems, and you ultimately have to figure out what's going to work best for you and what you're going to use consistently. For myself, I am a pen and paper girl all the way, but obviously there's a lot of computer ways to track your things as well. But I kind of took on Summer's recipe box. And so it was very, very simple. It was easy for me to do right from the beginning. It was not expensive or any of that. So basically all I have is a recipe box. I ordered it from Amazon. And then inside I have the cards with the dividers. And I got all of that from Amazon. And basically my dividers have 1 through 31. And behind each divider I have just 2 plain index cards, and those are the people that I'm going to invite. And so at the beginning of each month, I'll put 2 cards behind each date of the month, so that when it's like, for instance, today is the 2nd, I open my divider to the 2nd, and I have 2 cards. And those are my 2 people that I'm going to gift this amazing opportunity to, either for a challenge group or coaching. So I write their name on the top, and then I write the date, and I write that I invited them and what I invited them to. Okay? And then once I invite them, I move like 2 to 3 days. So either like the 4th or the 5th, and I put those 2 cards in that place. And so that way I know that on the 4th or the 5th, I need to follow up with them. I need to just check back in case I haven't heard back from them. And then I'll put follow up and the date. And that way I know where I am in the conversation with them. I know, if there has been any conversation, then I write that on the card. I can take notes about what's going on, what their goals are as the conversation goes. All of it can be on my card, and so it's a quick reference. And then I don't forget that I need to follow back up with her, because we know that follow up is everything. Okay, so I do that, and then. So as you move through your month, you're going to obviously have 2 cards in there that are blank, and those are for your invites. So for instance, I say I invited those 2 people today, the 2nd. I go to my divider, and like I said, I have, which is, I know it's going to be backwards. You'll see here the different numbers. I would move it to like the 4th. So when I get to the 4th, I'm going to have 2 more blank cards, and those are for the invites for the 4th. But then I'm also going to have these 2 people that I invited from today on the 4th for the follow-up. So at that point, I know that I need to invite 2 people, and then I also know who I need to follow up with that day. Okay? Something else that I like to do is I also have, so I have my dividers that have 1 through 31, but I also have dividers. I got an extra set of dividers, and I labeled them January, February, March, April. And what that allows me to do is, I have a lot of people sometimes that say, I've got a lot going on. Can you check back with me? We've got a lot going on this summer, or can you check back with me in August, or, whatever the case is. And so that way I can move their card to August. And then when August comes, I remember that I need to go back and check in with this person and see if it's a better time for them. And so again, that just allows me to keep up very, very simply, and not allow people to fall through the cracks, because that was a big thing for me in the beginning, was I was just forgetting, to follow up with people or who I had talked to or what we had talked about. And this is just a very, very simple, straightforward way to do that. That's not overwhelming. That's not expensive. And something else that I love about it is that I can take it with me. So anytime that I travel or I go out of town, my little box comes with me. And so I don't get behind. I'm able to continue my conversations, continue my follow-ups, and continue my recipe ultimately. I also, this is just like an extra little tip, I also just put some extra blank cards in the back so that if somebody ever reaches out to me, instead of, like if they come to me first, then I can add them to a card. And then sometimes you're going to have people that say, I'm going out of town. Can you check back with me in a couple of weeks? And so you can move them at that point instead of, say, today they said that. Instead of moving them to 2 days later, I move them 2 weeks later. So something more like the week of the 16th, I will check back in with them. And so that just makes it really, really neat, again, so that nobody falls through the cracks. Another thing that I like to do in this whole tracking thing is, we love bomb people, right? So anytime, like maybe I invited somebody and they never responded, I got crickets, because that happens to all of us. So I get crickets and I decide that I want to stay, like I really like this person. I feel like they really could benefit from this. It's just not the right time, and that's okay. So I'll keep them in my rotation, but because I've made really good notes on my note card, I know that I've gotten crickets from them. So I will stay present in their life. So I keep them in rotation. So I may, and there's no, like, I don't really have like a science behind this or a system or anything like that, because I think sometimes when we overthink things, we just overcomplicate them. And so I invite somebody, they give me crickets, and I'm like, that's okay. I'm just going to move them a couple weeks, and I'm going to put them in a date a couple weeks from today. And then on that day, I'm just going to go to their page, and I'm going to see what's going on in their life. And I'm going to love bomb them and just show them that I still care, that I'm still here. Okay. And so I may do that several times to keep them, in rotation. I do not invite them every time I come to their card, but I do love on them. And again, that just helps them to know that we're still here. We care about them, that they're not just a person that is on, our checklist, but they're a person that we really care about and want to be present in their life. So that's something else that I like to do. And then I do have a bigger box that, I may move people into if they, because obviously all my people cannot fit in this box, but I constantly go back to it. So it's kind of like a list that I refer back to for people that maybe told me no, maybe told me that it wasn't a good time. I'll keep them in my rotation so that I don't forget about them, so that I don't, that I can re-invite them and see if it's a better time and see if it's a good fit, because we don't ever want to assume that it's not, right? So that allows me to go back and nobody really falls through the cracks, okay? And then the other thing is, what we also can do is the people that have purchased from us, put them in a different box, a different place, so that those people, we're still checking in on them, we're still loving on them, we're still helping them reach their goals, still providing that Nordstrom service to them. So that's another option as well. But that's the main thing, is don't overthink it, and make sure that you do have some type of tracking system of some way. I do believe, I've been a coach for 4 years, and one would think that I would have some type of software tracking. But this I'm very, very consistent with, and it is the most consistent thing that I've been with. So that's just something to think about. But remember that you have to be doing the invites and the follow-ups. You have to be doing the recipe to even need a tracking system. So make sure that you're doing that part first. Go to Amazon, get you a box, get you some cards, get you some dividers, make it fun, and just take it up a notch with not only your tracking, but how you are loving on your people and letting them know that you're there, that you're still going to be here, a year from now, and that you truly, truly care about them and what we have to offer them. So I hope that helps, and that you find this helpful in your tracking, and that it will help you to stay consistent and not let anybody fall through the cracks, and that you will see that you're consistent with your tracking, but that you're also consistent with your inviting by putting those cards in there too, and that you're able to move your business forward. So you guys make sure that you do that you have some type of tracking. If you have something that is already working for you, that's awesome. Just make sure that you're very, very consistent with it, and your business will continue to grow.